Oh, it's okay. There.
So far.
It's because I have it like over here for the mic for it to be between us.
But you have so much space like on the side. Just move my tooth.
Not that.
Wow. Yes.
Bingo. I'm trying to pull from like the bottom and like, yeah, whatever. Why don't you do the countdown this time?
No. What is it, 5?
Yeah, it's just a countdown.
Is it 5 or 3?
5?
Oh, it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome back to Wx5 Podcast, Episode 4. This episode, we're doing something a little bit different. We're actually doing a series wrap-up this time.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing the wrap-up of Your Honor. It's a Showtime exclusive. It's actually their highest-rated Showtime show right now. It just finished. It's a mini-series of only 10 episodes. And in this episode, we're just going to do a brief synopsis. And then I have a list of questions that I want us to discuss. It's more of a discussion this episode. Because if you haven't seen Your Honor, please take the time to watch it. It's actually a really good series. I really enjoyed it. It's
pretty good.
It's got some really high points, got some low points. It'll get your adrenaline pumping. It's
for sure.
Oh, the anxiety is through the roof often. It leaves on some really good cliffhangers every episode, and yeah, we really enjoyed it. So real quickly, the cast stars Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad fame. If you haven't seen Breaking Bad is arguably one of the best shows of all time, and it's kind of interesting because I'm gonna get into some similarities. They tried to do the Breaking Bad thing with this, which is kind of interesting, but we'll get into that later. So it stars Bryan Cranston, Hunter Doohan, Hope Davis, Sophia Black-Deila, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., Michael Stahlberg, and Carmen. I can't pronounce her last name. It's Ejogo. Oh, there you go. Okay, so real quickly, we're just gonna do a brief backstory of it. So the show Your Honor is based on Israel. I didn't know this actually. It's based on an Israeli series called Kavodo. Your Honor finds Cranston playing Michael Desiato, a New Orleans judge who is forced to cover up a shocking crime when his teenage son, Adam, suffers an asthma attack while driving, gets into a car accident, and leaves the scene, allowing another boy to bleed out on the street. That boy, as it turns out, is the son of Jimmy Baxter, Michael Stahlberg, a local crime boss who vows to get to the bottom of what happened and exact revenge on the heartless driver who left his son to die alone. Now, getting into the show, first off, I want to ask you, this is a little different. So, what is your overall rating of the show? First of all, out of a 10, what would you give the show?
It's a good 9.
I think the same thing. It's like either 9.5. It's almost perfect, but there are some things that kind of piss me off about the show. It's kind of weird. It's not necessarily a show where I'm upset with the actions of the people, because I understand it in the end, but I'm upset about the loose ends. There's a lot of loose ends at the ending.
But then again, it's a series though, so you never know if it's gonna continue. It's only season 1 that we saw, so
yeah. So
that's what's good about it.
My first question I'm putting out there is kind of like the main question, I guess, but I want to know, what do you think happens after? And again, this is spoiler alert. Maybe watch the show first and then come back to this and maybe have a discussion with us about it in the various platforms that we're on. But what do you think happens after Adam dies at the ending?
I think Well, I mean, I don't know actually, because I mean, like they kind of their son Carlos still needs to go to jail. I mean, he did kill that little boy, Kofi.
Well, he just got. That's the thing with the last episode. He gets acquitted. He's innocent.
Wait, so they cannot reopen the case?
It's called double jeopardy. If something happens later on and you got acquitted already, like the only thing that can happen once that happens is what they call a civil suit or a civil trial, where you can't get found guilty, but the party that whoever is filing the civil suit can get money from damages and things like that, but you can't go to jail. So there was recently a case like this that happened that I was listening to on a different podcast, where somebody basically, it's pretty obvious that they killed someone and there's all this evidence pointing to them, but they got off. They were acquitted on the charges, but then they opened a civil suit later on, and all they were able to get is restitution, like money from that person. They got like $2 million in payments over 10 years or something like that. Wow. From that person. Yeah.
Well, that's it.
So yeah, that's.
I mean, like it's really. I think what happened is he gets depressed and kills himself.
Oh my god, no, that's best case scenario, honestly.
Or like, I mean, because he lost everybody. He lost his wife like a year ago, and now he lost his son. So
you think Michael Desiato gets upset and ultimately takes his life?
Yeah. And then I mean, he has like a lot of people that knows about it now. Like the cop, the detective lady, and his best friend and his lover lady. They all know, and the little boy too. He knows now too because he killed his son. The little boy could do revenge on him. Like a lot could happen. I don't know. Yeah, I just want the second season.
I do want a second season as well. That's one of the questions I was gonna ask later. But yeah, to sum things up, after the son Carlo of Jimmy Baxter gets acquitted, certain incident happens which leaves Adam dead. Which is kind of crazy because it literally, a lot of people were talking about this, but it is like a whole karma thing. It's like eye for an eye. The show is basically Michael Desiato, the judge, trying to protect his son
the whole time.
The whole time. He takes the rap for Adam, who killed Jimmy Baxter, this crime lord's son. But in the end, it doesn't matter because at one fatal moment, Adam gets shot in the neck and he's left to bleed out, which is just the craziest thing.
I mean, because at the beginning, like, what was I gonna say now for that? So, like, how he's a judge, right? So he's supposed to do the right thing. He was gonna do the right thing when the son came out clean to him. He was gonna do the right thing, and until he found out who the son killed, and he was like, yeah, let's get out of here. We cannot do the right thing.
That's what I was going to talk about.
We're going to die here.
That's literally what I was going to talk about. I was going to ask you some of the best moments, but literally that moment in the first episode when Michael finds out whose son Adam killed in the car accident, like, it's one of the best moments of the show because you see Michael, this strong, confident judge who is, like, known as being, like, the guy in New Orleans where the show takes place. He's like the judge that hands down the sentences, but also he doesn't play into lies because he does a lot of cross-examination. He does a lot of work on the case. He's really passionate. But then once they go to the police station to turn Adam in, once he sees Jimmy Baxter, like the look on his face, it almost turns white. He's like, oh my God, we can't do this. This guy is gonna not only kill my son, he's gonna kill me and everybody we love.
Die right now.
It's the craziest moment. So so what happens after Adam dies? For me, that's one of the biggest questions I have because there's so many unanswered things that I just wish if there is gonna be a season 2, I wish that they expound on a lot of it because there is a lot of open-endedness in this show. So,
but then again, that's like the hope. Like it's a show, so it's gonna continue. Not like all the irritating movies where you don't know you don't know the ending really.
So I'm super hot right now. Question 2: Does Detective Costello or Lee go after Michael Desiato after episode 10? There's no more. They claim there's going to be no more episodes. They say it's a limited series and this is it.
Man, really?
I that's what they're saying. I don't know. It's their biggest show. Like it literally broke records for Showtime. Like, so I hope there's a season 2. But yeah. So do you think Lee, which is Michael's love interest, who also is a DA, district attorney, and Detective Costello, who is close friends with Michael Desiato, but they both find out, like pretty much in the last episode, I think, right? That it turns out, guess what? Who they thought did the killing of Rocco Baxter was actually Adam, Michael's son. So, do you think, with this information and how basically Michael scorned both women, pretty much, do you think that they're gonna go after Michael if there's a continuation?
I think that well, she's pretty pissed at him. Like
Lee
is pretty pissed at him.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I just wanted to do the right thing, but at the same time, I think like if she knew that the Baxters were after him, that the Baxters know about it, that she would actually forgive him. But then she would be in danger because remember how he asked like, "Does your girlfriend know?" Right?
Yeah.
About the detective, I think it depends if the best friend becomes a mayor or not. Because if he doesn't become the mayor, then for sure she'll go after him.
True.
But then again, she knows that it's the son, though. Doesn't she know it's the son? Oh yeah, she knows it's the son.
Because he has that.
The godfather told her.
Yeah. Oh, so Adam's godfather is running for mayor in the show, and he's basically hitting Detective Costello with like an ultimatum, like, "Hey, I know you want to get out the corrupt police officers in your unit. Just don't go after Adam, and I'll make sure as mayor we get them all out of there." And then Michael's leverage with his lover and the district attorney Lee is that he admits to her that it is Adam, and that he's saying that like, "Oh, don't make me kill my own son, because if she ends up ruining the case for Michael, in which they're trying to get Carlo, the second son, out of jail, then pretty much they're done for." So what do you think happens with that relationship? Because that's an interesting one, because she is upset with Michael because Michael subsequently got a hit put on this character, Kofi Jones, who took the fall for him, for Adam, basically, because they set him up.
Yeah.
So he got hit. He got a hit basically put on Kofi's family, and everybody died.
Yeah, he lost his whole family.
Yeah, and that's
for nothing.
Pretty much, and that's why Lee is so much more upset with Michael, because it's like, you let a whole family die. Let Eugene, the youngest son, get a little bit of revenge, or like vengeance on his brother Kofi and the family by putting Carlo in jail.
Yeah, do the right thing, she said. But the thing is, like, he did, at the beginning when the judge's first trial was the mom, Kofi's mom, and he did help her a lot. Like, that's when you saw like what good of a judge he is. Like, he did help her out a lot, but then he let all of them die at the same time.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy though. I don't know. I mean, she's pretty powerful. Like, she's a DA, so she's not really like a lawyer anymore, though.
Yeah, she's basically a level above. Yeah.
So she could actually ruin him if she wanted to, but I feel like she wouldn't, because she would be like, "Oh, you lost your son too."
I think like Detective Costello would be, because of their history, would be more willing to let it go, even though she's always after justice. I feel like she's more inclined to let it go. I really feel like Lee would be the scorn lover and would go after Michael, like, after everything. Because it's not like, it's like how the show tries to portray it as eye for an eye. It is no longer an equal exchange. It's no longer like an equivalent balance, because you have Rocco Baxter and Adam, who have now died, and basically one took one's life and one died. You have the factor of Kofi Jones's whole family and Kofi Jones. So I feel like Lee's gonna be like, nah, I can never let this one go. You're done, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, question number 3: does Eugene get off for shooting Adam? So Eugene. Real quickly, Eugene is Kofi Jones' youngest brother who
That's
ended up
the only
joining.
one that survived.
Yeah, out of the whole family, he is the only sole survivor, and he ended up joining a gang in which he purchases a gun in the end and shoots Adam by accident. So
No, not accident.
no, he was trying to go for Carlo for sure. He was,
Okay,
he was trying to murder Carlo. That is for sure. So, do you think? Well, this is just a hypothetical because, like, if the show goes on, probably there's probably cameras in this restaurant in which this happened.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And they all saw him. So, do you think that? Let's just say there is no season. What is your ideal thing? Would you want Eugene to get off for it or not face any consequences?
Yeah. I feel like that's the only revenge he would get. Like, just get away with it because like he lost everybody literally, or like he gets caught and then he makes friends in jail and then they get out of jail and they become the most mob and stuff the mobs and then go after
There's a revenge fantasy right here.
and then they go after what's the name, the Baxters, and it's gonna be a 3 season.
Oh my god!
3 season long.
Oh my god! There's a whole war between the. What is the gang called again? The Desire Gang.
Desire.
Desires versus the Baxters. Okay, that was more of a hypothetical, so it doesn't really flow with it. But I just thought I'd ask it anyways. But this one is interesting. So people were coming up with theories about this next question. But question number 4 is: does the killing of Michael's wife mean more to the plot than we know?
Could be, actually. That's a good question.
Because there's theories on the internet right now floating around that what if, say there is a second season, and because Detective Costello kept saying how she wanted justice from Michael's wife, what if, because we find out Michael's wife, who was dead for about a year, she's been murdered, and it's the 1 year anniversary during the events of this series. So, because Detective Costello wants so much vengeance for this, and we find out that Michael's wife was cheating because there's proof in photos of some gentleman that may have been in a gang, who knows, or whatnot, but it's just some young black guy that she was sleeping with because she took a picture of him with a hat on, and then...
Wait, I never seen the actual face.
They don't show the face. He has his hand over his face in one picture, and then it shows his hat in a hotel room, and she's in lingerie taking a selfie with the camera, which is kind of crazy, but whatever. Forget that. Turns out Michael knew she was cheating, so one theory floated around in the internet is, what if Michael had her killed?
Whoa.
Right? Because think about it, every time she kept talking about justice, he kept skirting away from it.
Yeah. Like,
that's
just
the
let
crazy.
it go.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing.
But his excuse was, I don't want my son to know that his mom was a cheater.
Because what if the son starts digging? And crazy, right?
That could be very possible, actually, knowing what Michael just did this whole time.
Here's another piece of evidence that's kind of trippy. Because when Adam goes to the gravesite of the mom, it seems like the people that were at the convenience store that were watching him knew about who that was, and they were kind of pissed and trying to get him off. And then they followed him for no reason. Yeah, there's gang stuff or whatever. There's a white boy driving around the hood, whatever. But what if they knew the person that was killed, or what if they knew the person that she was sleeping with, and what if they kind of know that there was a murder or something? He was in love with her. There's all kinds of theories that can keep popping up if you think about it that much.
I don't know about that though, because that doesn't really make sense. Like, why would they want to follow him if she's the one who died?
They know the family, maybe. He's a famous judge, that's why. Because they kind of expressed that in the beginning that Michael Desiato was like a really big judge in the lower ninth and whatnot, and I don't know. There could be some kind of like love triangle thing going on that we don't know about. It could make for a really interesting season 2.
Yeah.
Like, what if he's really not as innocent as he makes himself out to be? Like, what if he's so used to this thing? That's why it's easy for him to lie. It's easy for him to get caught up in this, you know, criminal, stuff. Like in this series, it's crazy because Michael is literally, I think, if you think about it, he's the villain of the series.
Yeah.
He does so much killing in the name of keeping. Like, yeah, I understand. You do anything for your children. I will do anything for my children. But he ends up racking in a body count.
Yeah, that's true.
So many people he's killed to protect his son. So what if it's like he was already used to it before?
But his own wife, though?
I don't know.
Because
it's implied that Michael's not as clean as you think because his best friend and Adam's godfather is the guy running for mayor, but he is the one who had gang members ready to fake steal his car in order to hide evidence.
True.
So I'm pretty sure he's used to people that do shady stuff. So who knows? Maybe he hired somebody to do it. Crazy, right?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, he did try to. He did to try to. No, he did not try. He did poison that guy in his own court.
It's the craziest thing. He goes from. It's like that's why I was saying it's a comparison to Breaking Bad because if you watch Breaking Bad, which my wife is not, she's tried, but it gives her anxiety, so she stopped watching it.
I just don't like it.
Oh, dang it!
It's so boring.
It gets really good. We're gonna review it. For $100 on Patreon, you're gonna have my wife review Breaking Bad.
No thanks.
Dang it. Well, I tried. But the thing with Breaking Bad, why it's so polarizing is because Bryan Cranston's character, Walter White, he goes from being a guy who has cancer and he ends up trying to sell drugs because he has no money. He wants to leave behind money for his family when he passes because he has a baby on the way.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so he ends up being the good guy who ends up becoming bad because he ends up falling in love with that lifestyle, and he becomes the biggest criminal. So it's like that's why the show has so much comparisons because he goes from a guy who tries to cover like, oh, that's whatever, we're just gonna cover up a murder. I do anything for my son. He ends up murdering over 5 to 6 people, I think. Yeah, 6 people in order to keep his son safe. So it's kind of like the same parallel. But getting off of that because I could go on about that for a long time.
Yeah, the son is just the same as him too, anyways.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll get into Adam's character. Oh my god. So 5. Should the Baxter family tell Fia about Adam killing Rocco after he is dead? Do you think that's the right thing to do, morality wise? Because if you think about it, it's like. Fia is the daughter of the Baxter family. Who Adam, which is, I don't want to get into it right now, but Adam goes to date her, even though he is sleeping with a teacher at his school,
and knowing that he killed her brother.
Which is that's the wildest part about it, honestly.
Okay, so I feel like the mom would tell her because the mom is like special, like. She's always catty and stuff.
The mom is wild. Period.
She's like the mob. She's the mob boss. Not
she's the
dad.
Queen of the mob, pretty much.
So I feel like the mom would tell her eventually, or the brother even. But I don't think the dad would have the heart because I mean, like they stared at. They both like he held her while she watched him die, right in front of her.
That was a crazy moment, honestly.
Like the dad always had like a soft spot for her, so I don't think he would tell her.
Yeah,
but
because
probably the mom would.
Yeah, Fia's character in the show. Don't say that. Everybody is beautiful. So Fia's character, her real name is Sophia, but everybody calls her Fia for short. Her character is like this rebellious teen who's very passionate about certain things. A little bit of an oddball. She's kind of like very weird.
Yeah.
Kind of.
To say the least.
Yeah, because there's like, no offense, but there's like weird moments where she's like, here's my brother's sweater. If you smell it, it still smells like him. It's like, do you want to smell it? I'm like, what?
Like I would no, I think that's her way of like having Adam like sniffer, like be close to her.
It was weird.
That's
I
a
don't
high
care.
school type of thing. But no, that's yeah, I got that part. But it's like she's she was very close to her brother, I guess. So she would like wear his clothes when he passes. Yeah, yeah, but she's kind of weird.
She's kind of odd. I didn't mind her as much.
Yeah, she's alright.
Adam, I had a bigger problem with, but we'll get into that after.
I feel like she fell for Adam very fast too. Like
I think
you're just a stranger that I saw yesterday, and today I see you again, and I like you. Like what?
Yeah, I think she was because also she's in a stage of like grief.
Yeah.
So like, of course, she would get attached easily to somebody who makes her kind of forget the quote unquote pain.
He doesn't talk much. That's why.
Yeah, but yeah, he's okay. I don't want to get into Adam just yet. We're gonna get into him after. But my thing is like, I think that question of whether or not they should tell Thea, I think would make for a better moment if they did in season 2.
Mm.
If they had a second season where you deal with the ultimate consequences of everything that happened in season 1, it would probably be like make this show like a 10 for me, because like if she finds out after grieving after Adam is dead that he was the one that really killed, Rocco, of course she'd be upset, but it would kind of like motivate her to also try to get some sort of revenge on Michael because of the way that Michael created this bigger problem for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think she would also, it would be such an interesting thing because you could see her snap and kind of become like her mom, because her mom in this show is like, yeah, you think Jimmy Baxter's scary. If the mom wants something to happen, she makes it fucking happen. And it's fucking terrifying, honestly. Yeah. She's like literally like orders hits and shit. It gets nuts. So I think it would be such an interesting thing to make her like a villain in season 2 where she just gets like, all right, fuck this. Like, no. She could even be upset that all these actions that the dad did to protect Adam got Adam killed. She can be such a scorn lover that she's like, yeah, he fucking killed my brother, but the dad is the reason why I don't have Adam. So she could be like, villain number fucking 3, which would be really cool.
But wouldn't she be relieved that her brother's killer is gone?
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, these writers could have such a good time creating. They could go so many different ways with it. Yeah, she could be relieved that he's dead, and like, oh, you killed my brother. Now I wish I never met you, kind of thing. Or they could just go another route.
Yeah, true. That makes sense.
So, question number 6, I guess we kind of answered it, but do you think there is enough plot for a season 2?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Especially the last season was like a really big one to open another one, for sure. Like the ending, the season, what is it? No, episode 11?
Episode 10.
Episode 10 was spicy. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. You should definitely watch it though. It's a pretty good show.
Okay.
It's a pretty good show.
These are like, I didn't write down any more questions, but I wanted to break down ultimately Adam, because he is pretty much the catalyst that's rockets all of this into place. So obviously, question about Adam, did he do, or of course he didn't do the right thing ultimately. Obviously, you kill somebody, you gotta call 911. You don't fucking have a panic attack and whatever, but what would you have done differently if you were Adam?
I mean, I don't have asthma, so that's the first thing, but yeah, I get it. I mean, I would definitely still call 911 and stay there with the kid, actually, and wait until they come, for sure. But then that's like, the movie would end there.
It would have been an interesting show.
The movie.
That's it. We're done. Wrap it up. He's going to jail.
He's going to jail, and that's pretty much it, you know what I mean? But I mean, I think like the Baxter would still go after him, though, even though he goes to jail. Because like, oh, you killed my son, being in jail is not enough, you die in jail type of thing.
No, man. The thing is, like, when they're in the episode 1, Michael, after Adam confesses that he killed someone, Michael basically sets it up perfectly so that everything would be taken care of. Adam confesses. He's probably gonna have to go to court. He's probably gonna have to do some jail time or something like that. You know, obviously he fled the scene when he killed somebody. Not only did he flee the scene, he left the body, tossed his cell phone into the ocean.
Oh yeah, he did that.
Like he just fucked up big time. But
I mean, he tried to call 911, but then he had
a panic attack.
And then
His
they
asthma.
thought that it was him. It was the dead guy that was like trying to call 911 and fighting for his life on the phone. Like the guy couldn't even talk anymore. Anyways, at least he tried. I guess.
But the thing is, like, Michael was setting it up so that he called Detective Costello for you know, like, to report it and everything. If they went through with it, and he had Detective Costello, you know, have it working to get some protection. We find out later on that the Baxter family does have some cops under his control. Pretty much, like, he has officers willing to do whatever it takes to take care of them. So it is kind of like, okay, what do you do? But I think they would have had a better chance if they got Detective Costello on their side, told everything, and then once they found out that he killed a Baxter, I feel like they would have had a better chance. But no, Michael has to go hide the fact that they killed someone, whatever, blah blah blah. So
that's how it was written, I guess. But
yeah. So next, do you think Adam is a sociopath? Because when he kills Rocco, like people are divided about this part, but when he goes to like check his body, Rocco's mangled. He's obviously like having some sort of internal bleeding. He starts coughing up blood, and Adam goes to stick his fingers in Rocco's mouth. People are, obviously people are saying that. You remember he sticks his fingers in his mouth?
I thought he just...
No. Because he starts coughing up the blood.
Oh, to take it out?
Yeah, he was trying to take out the blood, but some people were saying that, like, in that moment that he could have been trying to, like, kill him, or, like, he wanted to see if it was real. He was so freaked out. He's looking at blood, like, on his fingers. And people also support the fact that he might be a sociopath, because obviously he goes to date Rocco's sister, which is, like, the ultimate red flag. So what do you think about his character? Do you think ultimately he's a good guy that made a mistake, or do you think he's a little twisted?
He's definitely twisted. I mean, if his dad is like that, he's definitely like that. Like, I mean, everything he did was, like, the wrong thing.
Pretty much, like...
Like, okay, he killed the dude, and he dates his teacher, and then he goes out of the girl, the dead kid's sister.
Yeah.
I mean... He even goes to his memorial, and that's how he met the sister. Like, he's so into... He goes to court to, like, listen to what happened. Remember when Kofi was in trial, and he goes to, like, listen to what happened to Kofi when he's supposed to be there?
That's... Yeah.
He was, like, always close to this case. Like, I don't know. He's crazy.
It's almost like the theory of... the killer returns to the scene of the crime. I know I mentioned that to you before, but it's literally like he's so obsessed with like the family and the event, the subsequent things that take place of him killing someone that he can't get away from it. He's in all the time he's in the court. He ends up dating Fia. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so crazy that, like, if I killed somebody, I would be trying to remove myself from the situation. I would move. Uproot my life, forget it. I'm in another country. I'm speaking Spanish for all I know, you know what I mean? But he's everywhere. Yeah. They are. It's so crazy. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's a crazy kid. But it's like the way he's appearing on the movies. Like, he's so innocent, and he just made a mistake. Like, once you like dig through him, it's like, whoa, this kid is insane, actually.
It is pretty messed up. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, it was almost like disappointing to me. Like, I'm like, you made one of the biggest mistakes ever, and your dad is literally doing the most insane stuff to keep you safe, and you just find a way to make it worse and worse.
Yeah, it's pretty much like every step he makes is like making it worse.
one more freestyle question, then I want to ask you your favorite moments of it. But at the last one of the last scenes of the show, Jimmy Baxter threatens. Jimmy Baxter finds out it was Adam, who killed his son Rocco, and it seems like Jimmy Baxter's setting up to kill Adam himself at the party in which they're celebrating Carlo being acquitted. So he tells him like, "Oh, you better be here." You know what I mean? Like you're gonna see your son's last moments. And he tells the security guards to not let Michael Desiato in. He closes all the blinds except for one, so Michael can see exactly what happens. They have a moment in which, because they invited Adam to the acquittal party, he goes up to Adam for the first time, doesn't say anything. I think Adam knows that Adam has this look in his eyes like he knows Jimmy Baxter knows he killed his son because it's quiet, it's tension. They're looking at each other, and Adam's literally like you can see him like it's almost like he's trembling in his place. And Jimmy Baxter opens his arms, and he tells him just to come in, and they embrace in a hug. What do you think that meant? That was one of the honestly, when thinking back on it, it's one of the most subtle moments, but it's one of the best moments in the show because it leaves so much to be desired. It's literally, as I'm breaking this down and thinking about it, it's him keeping the viewer guessing. Am I accepting this guy? Do I forgive this guy his mistakes, or am I setting it up so that I know that, like, you know what, I know you did it, and I'm gonna take your life, kind of thing. It leaves so much to the imagination. But what do you think about that moment?
I think it was. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like I wanna say it was genuine. Like he actually wanted to say, like he wanted to embrace him for the daughter.
Right? Because what it's implied is like I'm accepting you as like you dating my daughter.
Yeah.
So that's what you think of it as.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll just leave it at that because.
Oh, that was such a crazy moment. Like literally, it makes you think. Yeah, it makes you think of like all these different things. Like he's like, you know what? Like it's okay. You can date my daughter, kind of thing. One way to look at it is literally he's like, I forgive you, kind of thing. Because literally, you look at Jimmy Baxter's face. He looks mad, but it also looks like he's like letting go because he's looking him in the eyes, like seeing what kind of man he is. Because he keeps peering at his eyes, like I'm thinking literally he's about to. I thought he was about to hug him and then stab him. Honestly, I was like, please don't kill him, please don't kill him, please don't kill him. But then they hug, and he's looking at Michael through the blinds or the curtains, and he's literally just eyeing him up like, I don't know what to think, but man, that is. I guess now we'll go into our best moments, like favorite moments. But yeah, that is one of the best moments of the show, honestly, because it is one of those open-ended, like, what am I thinking kind of things.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, thank God, that was, and it's so much hype and build-up and anxiety in that one moment that it made for one of the best moments of the show. So we'll just go back and forth. We'll name a couple of our favorite moments.
Why? Because I love romance. So.
Oh, okay.
One of my best moments was with Lee and Michael.
Oh my God. Excuse me. So there's a little bit of a love thing between them. Lee had a thing for Michael for a long time. They end up kind of becoming a thing.
I think Michael was remember the first reason why he was calling her was to defend his son, but then after he had to pretend that he just wanted to date her instead and go on a date. I don't think. Okay, so maybe it was not genuine at first, but maybe he fell in love with her after all, like later on. Because at first I know that he wasn't trying to hook up or anything at all. Like he was just trying to look for help, but then just in case she tries to dig out, which she did at the end, like he just like pretends that he wants to be with her. Because remember he said I love you when they were in an argument. But then she was like, nope, not anymore.
You can never have me. Nope, fuck that up. That was a kind of good thing. It was kind of cool to see Michael get into like something with somebody, but it did feel forced. Like he was just trying to do it to get on her good side. So I don't know how I feel about that one. Like I wanted it to work, but obviously like Mike was just too fucked up. Like you just screwed up too much,
crazy.
man. One of my favorite moments obviously was that moment in episode 1 where the realization of who Adam killed as they're in the police station. There's a hallway in which there's tinted glass, and Adam is ready to turn himself in. Michael's ready to turn him in, and Michael looks and sees Jimmy Baxter and his wife grieving Rocco's passing at the police station. They confirm that he's dead, and everything just gets everything just gets quiet, and Michael's like, what the hell? He grabs Adam, they get out of the police station, and he's like, Dad, what are you doing? Dad, what are you doing? Like, I'm ready to turn myself in. He goes, you cannot turn yourself in. He does the Walter White Heisenberg moment, and he's like, Dad, what do you mean? He's like, well, he tells him with the most stern voice, do you realize who you just killed? And he's like, what are you talking about? You just killed the son of Jimmy Baxter. That's literally how he acts in all of Breaking Bad. He's just like, he does the teeth acting where his teeth just get really sharp and his jaw gets clenched. But like, it's one of the fucking craziest moments because it literally shows you that like, okay, this guy is no one to be fucked with, and like, that's one of the best moments. And I thought I would have, if I were Jimmy Baxter, when I was leaving the police station, I saw this guy panicking in the parking lot. I would have been like, that guy killed my son. I'm gonna.
Yeah,
who was that?
I mean, he kind of saw them, but not really.
Yeah.
But he was not really into it. He was like,
yeah, but he just points at him like, yo, you. I would have been like, yo, that guy killed my son. But
that was the end of it.
Yeah, that would be
season 1.
They get shot, ending. That's it. No, that was my first favorite moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to refresh my memory because we watched this like a long time ago.
Because it came out like weekly and only on Sundays.
And then if you have the time, we watched the other one for you guys. So
yeah, damn it,
we forgot.
Sacrifice for you.
We forgot what it was.
One of my other favorite moments, let me jar your memory a little bit, is when Jimmy Baxter finds out Michael, like he thinks it's Michael Desiato who killed the son, so he does some investigating on. He breaks into Michael's house, broad daylight, doesn't give a fuck. Breaks in, looks at all of his stuff, like he goes to investigate these people. He even sees an inhaler in which he thinks Michael has asthma, and he ties it back to the inhaler they found at where Rocco died. So he literally the guy has like balls of steel. He's like this, criminal kingpin, and he's like goes to just take a piss in his house. I think he eats something out of the fridge. Like, he just doesn't care. Plays with the dog, but it just shows how ruthless Jimmy Baxter is. He's like, I don't care, broad daylight. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm gonna check out your home, find any dirt on you that I can, and yeah, that was a pretty good moment, honestly.
Yeah, he didn't even. Actually, he was even relieved that he's a judge because he's like, I can use this against you, type of thing. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
You have a lot to lose here.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh my god, I still don't remember much.
Okay, I'm just gonna run through some good moments then, if you don't mind. Another good moment was, or the crazy moment was Kofi Jones entering Carlo Baxter's cell, because it was like there was a lot leading up to Kofi taking the rap for the carjacking and then going to jail, and you already know that we find out that Carlo knows or thinks that Kofi Jones killed his brother, because Carlo Baxter was allowed to leave jail for a little bit, in order to attend Rocco's funeral. So that moment before Carlo basically beats Kofi Jones to death is like one of the craziest moments. Like, it's just like nail biting. You can sense the tension.
Yeah.
The episode ends on there. That was a good one.
Oh, I like the fact that he was there out of nowhere. He was like running. He was jogging there, and then he saw what was happening, and he wanted to notify the prison that don't don't let who again? Was it Kofi or don't let
Yeah, don't let Kofi interact with Carlo Baxter.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know which one you're talking about. When the judge would basically sprint to the prison, he's like, don't let them interact, don't let them get together, and then
I don't know.
doesn't matter.
Was he like trying to jog to the cemetery where his wife was, and he just was there by accident, where they were like putting their son to rest?
No, he did it on purpose.
Okay.
That you find out in like episode 10, I believe that was very important as well, because it comes out that's a piece of evidence. Yeah, that Michael was spying on the Baxter family. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. One of my favorite part was when Lee was digging into Kofi's mail, and she found that he was taking the GED. I mean, was it the GED?
Yeah, he was taking.
No, not the GED. The ACT.
No, it was the GED. He was trying to get his GED, but he failed.
But yeah, he was taking the GED when the murder was happening, so it wasn't him. Definitely wasn't him.
It was a piece of evidence that there's no way, shape, or form that he could have been killing. He could have killed Rocco in a hit and run because he was too busy failing the test at the time, unfortunately. So that's when Lee basically has a nail in the coffin that Kofi Jones did not kill Rocco Baxter. That was a good one too, yeah, because she's literally like, remember, like it just shows her looking at the piece of mail, then she's like, you don't know why it's so important, and then you knew it was important because the show was like, it focused on the time, and we're like, oh, why is that important? Then you find out it's the piece of evidence, so it's like, oh god.
Oh, one of my favorite moments too was like when she was confronting Michael at the end, and then she figured it out herself, like, okay, so it wasn't you, like out of nowhere, Kofi's brother, what's his name?
Eugene
was there, and he was like, oh, that's the guy that was at our door that day. So she's like, okay, you were there that day, so it's not you. So who is it? Who is the other person that can access the car?
And she finds out it's Adam.
Yeah, that was a perfect moment, because I mean he would never tell her.
Yep.
He would just take the blame for it.
And she was so conflicted because she starts tearing up because she knows like this is a child that killed a child, and she's like, her heart breaks almost in that moment. You can tell like she was so heartbroken over the fact that Adam killed somebody, and then Michael is basically throwing away his life for Adam. Yeah, that was a good one.
And she's like caught in the middle pretty much because she wants to do justice. She wants to,
but she cares for Adam, and she loves Michael still to an extent, but not in the same way anymore.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So, yeah. So I think two more moments.
I feel like all my moments are like attached to Lee pretty much.
She was one of the better characters for the show, obviously. Yeah, but so was, you know what, Mike, Detective Costello was a really good character too.
Yeah.
Although at times I was kind of like irritated because like she was led on by Michael so easily. She's a detective for crying out loud, and Michael would be like, "Oh, you know, why are you gonna let anybody else get this case? It could be your big one, you know." And she's like, "Oh, you know what? It could be my big case. Yeah, what did I do?" Like
I feel like she trusts him so much.
That is
a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, like at the beginning, do you remember like the part of the motorcycle was still attached to the car?
Oh my god!
And fell right in front of her.
Yeah.
And then he was lying about it, and then she bought it too.
Yeah, that was sad, honestly. I was like, wow.
Like, whoa, you're about to get caught. Oh no, never mind, you're not. I mean, she did have some questions, but she was not gonna look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. She was a good cop, but I don't know.
Just a couple other moments. One, it was not my favorite moment, but it was one of the most intense moments when they were interrogating Kofi Jones in the car and they were gassing the car. That was so like hard to watch, but that was like not a favorite moment of mine, but it was one of the more better, like crazy moments of the show. Like of how much they went through, like how much Kofi went through for his gang, man. It was so sad. Like he was another guy caught like screwed by the system of like.
He was
gang.
Literally like they literally threatened his family, like, you just keep your head down or we're gonna take care of your family. Like, dude, that's wow.
It was sad. Like I just wanted him to like have some sort of justice, but he just was just so willing to die for his gang. It was just so bad, like to see. his character got screwed so bad. Excuse me. Yeah, I guess just the.
I feel like this movie is mostly anxiety to me. So that's why I wouldn't say some moments are my favorite because they're more like anxiety over the top. But the moments that were my favorite are the ones that I said. The other moments were like extreme anxiety all the time.
For sure. Like I wouldn't say it's my favorite moment, but honestly, the final act of this show is so just you couldn't look away. Like it was one of the if this is it, if this is the end of the show, if it's only gonna run for one season and on season 10, episode 10, that last sequence of episode 10 is just one of the craziest and honestly one of the probably the better ending sequences of a show I've ever seen because it's literally like you don't expect it, you don't expect what to happen, and everything can be interpreted in one way or another, and it just how it's executed was really good. The way it's shot is really good. The score, the music, everything's really good.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, we already gave you our score. We already gave you our favorite moments. We raised a bunch of questions. This is more of a discussion, but overall, fantastic show. If you have not seen it, if you want something to watch, if it is wrapped up, just try the free trial of Showtime, the Showtime channel on Amazon Prime. It's really good. I honestly would recommend it. If you want, it's basically a more refined, condensed version of Breaking Bad. So if drug dealing isn't your thing and you like dramas, this is it. This is like prime television, honestly.
Yeah.
So please give it a watch. It's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Even I like it.
Yeah. She doesn't like shows that cause heavy amounts of anxiety. So if this one worked, yeah, you know it's good.
It's probably because I didn't have to watch it like back to back to back.
Yeah, for sure. No, definitely. And, you know, to sum it up, fantastic. Cinematography is really good. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening to our discussion. It wasn't really a review. It's more of a, like, our questions are what ifs. So if you haven't watched it, please watch it and then come back. Have a discussion with us. Yeah.
Let us know what you think about this series. Also, don't forget to catch us in all our social medias. It will be somewhere.
It'll be in the description, especially if you listen on Spotify. And one thing we want to talk about: if you do not pay for Spotify, you do not have to in order to listen to this. It is free to listen and follow on podcasts. We would really appreciate it if you give it a listen, give it a follow. Yeah, and that's about it.
Okay, we'll open our own Instagram page soon. So
yes, definitely.
We'll follow us on that too. But anyways, I will see you guys again next week Sunday at the same time, 9 p.m. Hawaii time. So if you would like to join us on live, just join David on his
Twitch is twitch.tv /copy